My name is Darren. And this is a gaudy painting that I got at the resale shop for super cheap. Totally evokes those 70s and 80s vibes. And I thought, rather than making a traditional, boring car show card for Vanellope, I would get an awful painting and redo it. Let's now go take a look at how that tie-dye project is working out. Shall we? Well, I went to the Home Depot and I got a whole bunch of this 1/4-inch board stuff. I suppose I need to get that out of here before I can work on getting the old headliner out of here. How did I even... I guess that's called Yucca board? Whatever. I've got about 1,000 screws to take out and take out the old headliner. Fun. Am I the only one that every time you go to do a project you can't find bits that you need? Well, we'll have that problem today. And since not all of these are the same, I figured I'd just get a whole new kit. Okay, so sorry about your clothesline, Tanner, but it has to go so we can redo the ceiling with the tie-dye that you liked. I'm not even messing around with these knots. Before I go hog wild, I kind of want a small victory. Just one small victory before I maybe attempt a big fat fail. You may have noticed that this was held up by a bungee cord. If you didn't, your skills of observation need improvement. So I was hoping to just be able to use... I will be able to just use that. Alright, let's see. Oh, yes! There's absolutely no reason to duct tape something shut. Just go to the hardware store and get the right shit. Well, I sure hope that you're enjoying watching the installation of the headliner. I'm continuing to improve this piece of artwork. I don't think it's going terribly so far. Go ahead and take this light out first. My replacement lights do not have fancy connectors like these here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those off with plenty of room to work with to reconnect to the new lights. I'm going to take the pop-up handles off. I'm going to have to pop the top. Well, I think you can understand the appeal of this to me, because I can almost stand up perfectly straight in here. Oh, now I can. It was just a low spot in the ceiling. I'm a little over 6 foot tall, and this is awesome to me. Or go to an old house and just every single screw is different. It's kind of what's going on here. Maybe holding it together. Oh, that's always cute. There's mold there. Maybe it'll smell slightly better in here. Okay, So I'm not going to lie to you and pretend like that went exactly how I planned it to go, because it didn't. But what I am going to say is the next part should go exactly as I planned it to. So Tanner and I made this giant freaking tapestry, and it's way wide, and I thought that it would be coolest to take one of these edges and center it on here. This is the portion that goes in the cab, kind of cab section of the pop-up camper van. Cut that section out to fit there. Okay, so the scissors that I had would not cut through the fabric. They don't look like they would cut through fabric, to be honest. But I hope that cuts through anything scissors can. Next thing I'm going to do is use the spray adhesive, and I'm just going to coat this whole thing with the spray adhesive. This is super tacky. I can already feel it tacking up on my skin. So I think I get one shot to get this on there right. So, wish me luck. Can you hear me sticking to the floor? Alright. Now, I'm going to it's fairly workable. Get a wrinkle, just pull up the edge. I think this is just so cool. This is absolutely beautiful. It's been not perfect, but it's really good. I like it a lot. And since that tacked up so fast, I'm going to go ahead and spray some adhesive around the edges and stretch it over the sides. I'm not an upholsterer. This is the extent of my upholstering. But I did do this, I have done this before. I had a Dodge Dakota that had that headliner that just fell down, and you know, it's just irritating having stuff drag on your head all the time. So I went up to the fabric store, got my pieces of fabric, went to, I think, Home Depot, actually, got this same spray adhesive and wrapped my fabric onto the original headliner after I pulled the fabric off of it. glued it in place, and it held for several years while I was just a kid in Houston, Texas. Alright, this is one piece down. I'm going to take it inside the house to dry where it'll stay clean, but I think it's rad. What do you think? Utilizing original board, which looks identical to what I bought, as a template. Original board, which looks identical to what I bought, as a template. I've laid it on the new board, and you've seen my cuts through fucking anything saw, and you've seen my cuts through fucking anything scissors. Well, what you haven't seen is my fucking draws on anything markers. I'm going to be using one of these new draws on anything markers. I'm going to be using one of these draws on anything markers to lay out my template. First, get this light hole marked on here. Grab a line here. The van is significantly wider than a sheet of wood, so gonna have some waste here. Looks pretty doggone good to me. Unfortunately, I have this much scrap left over from each one of these 4x8 sheets. Corners on that were chamfered, so I'm just going to go ahead and knock the dust off of it. For the back, I got a little bit of headliner material. Well, the reason I got headliner material for the back was a little bit of insulation, a little bit of sound insulation, a little bit of heat insulation, and it's lighter than the wood, so I didn't want the wood darkening up my tie-dye fabric because it's pretty thin. This also doesn't go all the way to the edges because the edges have to tuck in a channel. One tip I can give you before you do this is if you don't want the wrinkles in it, I don't really care, you're not really gonna see them with the tie-dye fabric over it. You can get this a little damp and then lay it out in the sun and let it bake, and that'll make the wrinkles go away, and it will allow the material to look a little bit better. If laying it out in the sun is not an option, hang it up in your bathroom on your curtain rod and just set your shower to as steamy as it'll get. Steam it up for about 20 minutes and those wrinkles will just fall right out. Or you can buy one of those fancy steam machines. I have one of those too. I drill out my hole before I completely lose any idea of where it is. Perfect. The spray adhesive that you use, you want to make sure that you read the label and make sure that you can use it on foam. If you get the wrong kind of spray adhesive and it's not for foam, it will melt the foam, and then you'll have problems. Headliner for a van. Super simple stuff. But if you don't know, you don't know. But sometimes you just gotta have courage to try different weird, wacky things. Like this tie-dyed headline. Got enough fabric to wrap around everything. Got a whole lot of fabric over here, but Tanner likes the spirally center part, so I'm going to try to make sure we utilize that as much as possible. Going back at this with another coating of spray adhesive. It's like making your rack. You just spread it out evenly and then smooth the wrinkles out with your hand. And if you don't know what a rack is, bless your heart. Half a man. Alright, that's sufficiently laid out. I'm going to flip it over and get the back rolled over. As I said, I have several panels to do, so I labeled this one which one is the back and that it goes towards the back. But if you don't have something with this long of a root, you probably don't need to do that. I hope you're enjoying this video so far. The tie-dye process took quite some time to do, and that's why it had to be a two-part video. Painting is much more my thing. Let's watch as I wrap up installing the headliner on the van. Vanellope. Alright, so it has been a day since I wrapped the panels for the headliner, and I took a razor blade, cut a hole here to run the wires through for the light. Now the only thing that's left is to throw them all up in the van, and hopefully that goes well, because I tried really hard. I tried hard. Sometimes trying doesn't work, but I tried hard, damn it. Put on my gloves to hopefully keep from getting dirty. Alright, well, that's almost successful, except for that I forgot to push the wires through. Hey, not bad. These little square ones first. There we go. Just kind of try to hold it up in place. Wrong one. These little fellas started. Wrong bit. I know that these long ones go in towards the bottom because there's a privacy curtain that snaps in to all of these little fellas towards the top to let less light in. So that's kind of cool. I'll put those in next. Those don't go into the metal though, they just hold into the trim piece. Like so. Got 2 more pieces of trim to put up, but I think you can see it's going to go fairly well up here. Oh, so cool. That was great success. Now this back part has me anxious, I'm not going to lie. We'll see how much of the struggle bus I am on. Ah, geez. I already see a problem with our progress here. Hopefully I can just grab it with these electric pliers. Yep. Yep. Staples would definitely hinder that sitting up flush as much as I can get it. Okay. So before I put it all the way up there, oh, that's a stretch. There we go. Yes. Nice. Got it snapped up in there. Looking good. That's as far back as it'll go. I'm happy with it. Got my wires dangling so I can put in the lights. Beautiful. Secure this right in the middle with one of these screws. Go ahead and get the next piece so I can put it up here. Alright, I've got this front one now. Let's see how well this goes or doesn't go. 2 for 2, not looking bad. Well, this is the one that gets funky because it's in between the front and the back, and for it to look good, it really needs to be the right width. Wish me luck. Here I go. Whew. Shoot. This one is definitely going to need to be fastened in place. Right there. One sensationally tie-dyed hippie van headliner installed. Outstanding. This looks way cooler than those blank boards. Alright, I'm just going to run a whole bunch of screws down the middle so it stays put, and maybe some around the outside edges that really get a good bite. Whew. This isn't finished, but this video just about is. I want to thank you for watching me do my wacky different ideas, and I just want to remind you that not every single video can be a banger. Not every single video can be something that you absolutely love. But I do appreciate the support and comments and sharing and the subscribers. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, tell me why. I'm going to finish this, and I will be in the damn garage.